Hi guys, this is Fundamentals 2. This is the second part of the Avid Media Composer certification. I promise I will make this as easy and as painless as possible. So Izzy, make sure you're paying attention. A lot of this stuff is review. A lot of this stuff may introduce some new elements that we may never use in class, but that they expect you to know if you ever got a job being a freelance editor using Avid. Okay? So let's get started. We're going to start with a select project window. So this some of the stuff is review, a couple of things that you may learn. But this is the select project window. Up here, user profile. Remember, you can select whatever user profile you would like. So I'm going to change from Brandon to VP Student. You can also create your own user profile, which all of you have done, or import a user profile. You can save your user profile on an external drive, and say you were a freelance editor and you didn't work on the same software or the same computer all the time, you worked on different computers, you can actually save your user settings on an external drive and import them in, so you always had the same user settings no matter what computer you're on. Down here is where you save your select projects, or where you save your projects. You can go private, shared, or external. Whenever it is selected in blue, of course, that's what you're working with. Private saves things in the Documents folder, so all your projects would be saved in the Documents folder directly on the computer. The shared saves projects in the Shared Avid Projects folder directly on your computer. External saves your projects on an external device, such as an external hard drive or our Edit Share server. So make sure you're always in the proper project settings, okay, of where your project is located. A lot of times people can't find their projects, and it's because sometimes the wrong button is clicked and we make projects in the improper folder. Okay, so for example, here's a couple of projects that are in the shared folder that really should be in the external folder. All right. If you look down here in the actual folder, it'll show you where you're actually located and what folder you're actually located at that moment. So if you look right here, we're in the volumes, TV Mac 13 on the Edit Share, in Brandon's folder, and in the MC110 course materials and project files. I don't want to be there because I am going to actually be using my own work drive. So I'm going to click on the Browser Folder button, and I'm going to go to the Avid Work, Avid Certification, Instructa, and then here are my projects that I'm going to be working with. Okay, so by clicking on that Browser Folder button, I was able to navigate to the proper folder. So you want to make sure you understand that, because a lot of you guys do that already when you can't find projects, or because you work multiple students use the same computer. You use that Browser Folder button all the time to go to your projects. So you just may not have realized that it actually had a name other than click on that button. Down here is a list of all your projects. Over here are the settings for those specific projects. So you can see how when I click on a specific project, it gives me the project settings over here. Of course, if you want to create a new project, you click on New. And the New Project window opens up, and you can actually click, put a name in, adjust whatever it is that you need to adjust. For example, we always go to HD 1080, and then pick the proper frame rate. But one thing, we always do projects in HD because that's the type of equipment that we have. You can also work in 4K, which is really where the industry is going to be headed in the next few years. Everything will be shot in 4K. I know we have a 4K camera, and even though we don't film in 4K, we do have that option. And you actually have that option to edit in 4K if you choose to. So by clicking on 4K, and we'll go 4K full aperture with 23.976p frames per second, this would be a project that would be set in full 4K. So if I had a project that I was making in 4K, this is what I would want to do. It gives you that option to do that. Another thing that you can do is actually make custom presets. For example, say you work for Apple and your job is to make videos for the Apple Watch. So because the Apple Watch has a different type of dimension, you're still going to want to make videos for it, but it can't be in this aspect ratio. Okay, it can't be like 16 by 9, a normal 16 by 9 aspect ratio that would fit your computer screen or your TV monitor. It has to be a different size. So what you could do, let's call this Apple Watch. You could go to Format and go to Custom. When you click on Custom, you can actually type in the raster dimensions for the specific type of video that you want to work on. So for example, the raster dimensions to make a that would fit an Apple Watch is 320 by 390 in 23.976 frames per second. Okay. The next thing we would do is click the Save Preset button. So because I have custom settings down here, we're going to save this preset. So by clicking on that, we're going to give it a preset name, and we're going to call it Apple Watch. Okay? And we're going to click OK. Oh, it already exists, so we'll call this, let's just call this Apple Watch. And when I click on Save Preset, we'll call it iWatch. How about that? So we'll click OK. Oh, goodness. We'll just call it Apple. And click Save Preset and just call this Apple. All right. So now it's making me mad. Let's call this Jeff. And we'll save the preset as Jeff. And hit OK. Oh, so it already said, I've already saved it. So by going to Manage Presets, you can see that it's saved in here in the Preset Manager. So you can actually save all of your presets, so that way you don't have to create it all the time. So I can click on my Apple Watch, hit OK, and it'll automatically go to that project. Okay? So just a quick review, the Select Project window, User Profile up here, you can custom and import user profile settings, private, shared, and external for where your projects will be stored. You can always look at the folder to make sure that you are in the proper place. You can click on the Browser Folder button to navigate to the proper location of your projects. Private saves it privately on the Documents folder on the computer. Shared saves it in the Avid Shared on the computer, and external always uses an external drive, okay, such as a server or an external hard drive. You can create projects in 4K, and you can also custom make your own projects. All right, so that is lesson 1. Kind of a review, a couple of new things. We will move on to lesson 2. Leon out.